All right, our next lesson is 2.1, translations. The I can statement is I can identify and draw translations. So the first thing I'm going to do is put a definition of what a transformation is. So a transformation is kind of a broad term that covers all of the different lessons that we're about to do. We're going to get into translations today, and then reflections, rotations, dilations. Those are all considered transformations. So a transformation changes a figure into another figure. And the one we're working on today is called a translation. And a translation is a slide, where it slides the figure in a certain direction but does not turn. A lot of people will call this a slide. Okay. The rule for translations, and pay attention to the rule because a rule will need to be put on a lot of our tests and quizzes. And rules oftentimes start with, okay, if you have an XY point and then you need to translate it, you're going to translate it whatever the X value is. So we would say X, and then it's going to be plus whatever number you move it. Okay, so again, left would be negative and right is going to be positive. And then comma, Y value plus whatever number you move it vertically. So that would be down would be negative, and then up is positive. And then that's your rule. So this would be horizontal, the X value, and then vertical with the Y value. I'm going to highlight the actual rule as you would write it down on a test or a quiz. So that part that's highlighted there is how you would write it. And if you look at example 1, which we're about to get into, this shows you the rule and how it looks. And then we have a triangle, ABC, and I want to take that triangle, and if you look at the rule, I am going to be moving it 3 to the right. That plus 3 would indicate right because it's attached to the X value. And then I'm also going to be moving it 2 down. So 3 to the right and 2 down. So I'm going to take each one of these points. We'll start with A. And if I move A 1, 2, 3 to the right and 2 down, it's going to end up right there. Okay. And then if I take B, I would move B 1, 2, 3 to the right and 2 down. And then C 1, 2, 3 to the right and 2 down. Now, the way I'm going to label these is a little different. I'm going to label them A, what we call prime, B prime, and C prime. They're basically the same label. We're just putting a little dash above it, and we call those primes. It's just showing that it's a different figure that you've translated. And then there's your triangle. The other thing I can do over here on the right is I can take the rule, and I can take my original points, -2, 3 for A, and I can add 3. So -2 plus 3 is 1. And then for the Y value, 3 minus 2, and then that's also 1. Looking at B, I'm going to use the same rule. B is -3 for X, and then I'm going to use the rule X plus 3, so I'm going to add 3 to that. That gives me 0. And then the Y value, Y minus 2. 1 minus 2 is -1. And then finally C, we start with -1 for C, and I'm going to use the rule X plus 3, so -1 plus 3 is 2. And then Y minus 2, 1 is Y, so 1 minus 2 would be -1. All right, let's look at example 2. Example 2 gives me 3 points, And unlike example 1, we have not, it hasn't been graphed for you. So first thing I want to do is just graph A, B, and C. So A, 2, comma 1, B, -3, comma 1, that would be B, and then C is -3, comma -2. Here's our original triangle, and what I'm going to do now is take these 3 points, and I am going to, if you look at what else I highlight, I'm going to translate them 4 right and 3 down. So I could do this a couple ways. I could just look at the points that I have highlighted and add 4 to the x value and subtract 3 from the y value, because the right is addition and then down would be subtraction. Or I could just take the figure that I've just graphed, A, B, and C, and just move each point 4 units right and 3 down. And I think that's what I'm going to do with this. So I look at A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 units right, 3 down. I'm now going to call this A prime. B, 4 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 down, that's B prime. And then C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 down, that would be C prime. And then here is my new image. And if you look at those two, they look exactly the same. It's just one has been slid to the right and then down. All right, let's end with this homework ticket problem. So just like the problem above, I'm first going to plot these points. So A is 3 to the left, 2 down. B is 2 to the left, 0 up and down, and then 3 would be 3 to the right and 2 down. There's my triangle. What I have to do is I have to apply the rule that I just highlighted, and that tells me that I'm going to move 1 to the right and 4 up. So each one of these 3 points that I just graphed will go 1 right, that's the x plus 1, and then 4 up, that's the y plus 4. So 1 right, 1, 2, 3, 4 up. There's A prime. B would be 1 right, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's B prime, and C would be 1 right, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's C prime. And then there's your new triangle. All right, thank you.